My name is Vince Pearson. I'm the co-founder and current executive director of ACE Mentoring. ACE stands for Attitude, Commitment, and Excellence, as Julius just mentioned. We're based in our 12th year of operation, so we have been around for a while. We are our nonprofit here in the Sacramento area. We have a governing board of directors who are very involved with our program, very committed to the program, and behind the scenes do a lot to keep this program going. So I always like to thank our board of directors that we have. Joining me on the line today, before forward, I would like to mention we have Derek Wells on the line. Derek can wave his hand where he is. He's one of our ACE leaders, as well as William Bowie on the line. And William will share with you at the very end. William is actually a young man that spent several years in the ACE mentoring program since graduated. Now is a student at Chico State, excelling in his academics there to the point that we really liked him. So we brought him on board for pay. So now he is an administrative assistant to the ACE mentoring program, and he's doing a great job. And that's a quick example of what this program is looking to do for young men of color out there. So I hope this opportunity, hopefully you've had the opportunity to look at our website ahead of time. If not, please go to our website and you'll see a lot more information that we can present in this time frame. You'll see a lot more information on our website, and feel free to contact us through our website if you have any questions. Okay. If you will allow me, I just would like to give kind of a quick rundown because I do want to stay timely and I do want to allow questions at the end because you might have more questions than I present. So I do want to just kind of give a quick synopsis of how our program looks, how our program operates, and then from there, hope afterwards, if you have questions, we'll open it up for that. The intent of the session today, and again, I appreciate Julius, is that we're looking to expose our program a little bit more to the leaders out there, hopefully school leaders, community leaders who work with youth, and to help us identify some additional young men of color to come on board with our program. We are in a recruitment period right now. We are open to have a total of 15 young men in our program. And right now, we don't have that level, so we would like to get back up to that. And so we're given this drive to hopefully fill some spots. We don't want to go over 15 because we're a very hands-on mentoring program, and we work directly with our young men and their parents. And so we've kind of maximized that number of young men that we work with between the ages of 13 and 18. Okay, so again, we welcome any additional support that you can provide for us, and hopefully you'll like what you hear today and you'll be able to help us identify some young men for our program. Okay, we are planning an informational session in the next couple of weeks, so that's why this was critical to have this presentation this week. And just give you a heads up, ACE is a year-round program, so we might be a little different than some of the other mentoring programs out there. So the fact that we may be winding down soon for the school year really does not affect us. So keep that in mind. Any thought you had, because we go into these summer sessions as well to talk to our young men about a lot. So we are a year-round program. We generally take off the month of August as a break, but we are a year-round program. Okay. Our mission currently is to identify or work with young men of color to help them excel in their educational achievement as well as their social awareness. And the social awareness aspect is what's going on right now in the world. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but we do talk to our young men a lot about what's going on socially in the world that involve young men of color. So along with the academic aspect and the educational aspect of our program, we do talk to them about socially what's going on in the world today with you as a young man of color. And that's a strong part of our program as well. We're an after school program. We meet one day a week. After school typically has been Tuesdays, every Tuesday evening. We have a standard meeting format. I'd like to run that by you right now. And that format basically is a presentation when our young men come. We talk about grades every week. Grades are essential to our program. We want our young men to obtain good grades, the best grades they can achieve, with the goal of young men graduating on time and to move on to something positive in life, whether that's college, whether that's vocational studies, whether that's entrepreneurship. We cover all those aspects. And so our goal is young men stay in school, do not get expelled, don't have any reason to go to the principal's office for a negative reason, stay in school, graduate on time, and move on to something positive in life. So we do that by a couple of means. Every week we do either presentations or demonstrations. Presentation can be from a local community leader or individual comes in and talks about any obstacles they may have overcome in life to let that young man on the other side of the table know, I too, young man, have some obstacles. I've overcome them to achieve where I am now, whatever that achievement may be. So we bring guest speakers in face to face to talk to our young men. We might have guest presenters. In the past, we've had a pilot who literally has flown in from United Airlines from New York to do a presentation to our young men about careers in the aviation industry, had dinner afterwards, flew right back out to New York. I mean, that's how the committee was to talking to young men of color about what's going on in aviation. So that's just a little information about guest speakers that we try to present in front of our young men. We bring people in front of our young men, obviously talk about college, college prep, college life. What do you need to do, young man, on a path to college? Like I mentioned earlier, we bring guests in to talk about vocational studies as well, because everybody's not cut out for college, but you can find success in both of those paths and even in the entrepreneurial path. And I think we all would agree that. So we try to give those options to all of our young men in the program. The other aspect is we might do demonstrations that particular day. So it could be a science and technology demonstration related to STEM, some personal discussion of some personal enhancement that might be going on in that young man's life. Or we might be do a speaker series where we ask our young men to get up and talk about speaking in front of the audience and speaking clearly, and things on that nature. And if you go on our website right now, if you look, you'll see some things we do with our young men. We've had some chess sessions with our young men. We had a ties and handshake session with our young men to learn how to tie a tie, learn how to properly handshake a hand. So you get some of those examples right there that you see right there on the screen. So you get a feel for a wealth of, we're trying to create a whole human being here when they go off into the world. Along with our weekly session, we have a tutorial program. Before the pandemic, we had tutors that would come in to our site where we meet and actually work with our young men and a tutor. And or if an agreement was made with the guardian, they would meet outside of our program, like at a McDonald's or Starbucks, like that, with the consent of the parent, and the parent is present to do the tutoring. All tutoring charges are covered through the ACE program, so it's all free tutoring that we provide to the young men who are part of our program. Um, During the sessions, each of our young men are assigned tasks. So when they come into the session, they have to help set up. When we leave a session, they have to help break down. They have to learn these things in life. There's things to do. So our thought process is whatever goes on here, you need to transfer that to home, young man. You need to take care of your home environment first, really. So understand you're taking care of things here. You need to make sure you're taking care of things on your home environment as well. So we talked about those aspects as well. And then we'll have a little playtime with our young men. We do fun educational exercises. We've created our own internal games, believe it or not, our own Pictionary games, our games where it's very creative. They're all learning, where our young men can win gift cards, and very substantial gift cards. So we try to incentivize the program as well. So that's in-house. Outside the program, we have what's called educational interests site visits. And this is a strong suit of our program. And that's taking our young men into the community to physically see or touch careers out there to get them exposed to something they may not normally be familiar with, but get you exposed to this young man to see if it's something you might want to consider and strive towards. So just give you some examples. We've had a visit to our architect's office where our young men sat down and learned about architecture. We had a tour of the Golden One Center downtown during this construction phase. Turner Construction hosted our young men on the site while it was being constructed to talk to them about the trades that were there, as well as construction management courses or requirements that you would have to have if you want to be a construction manager on a site like the Golden One. It was a very, very strong tour, and it stands out. The picture that you see on the screen there with the young men in the helmets, that was a tour that we had of a food processing plant in Woodland. And it was one of the also our top tours. Our young men actually got the chance to go on some farm equipment, but a big emphasis was understanding the engineering jobs that are at a place like this, young man. So if you want to go into engineering, there are jobs in places like this. We visited the Art Institute of Sacramento before it closed up. And UC Davis orthotics department, we talked to them. We had a young man talk to them about prosthetics and orthotics. That's a career you can go into, young men. We visit the Citizen Hotel downtown. People might say, well, why would you do a trip to the Citizen Hotel? Well, we knew the general manager there, and that general manager talked to our young man about I started off as a the brings in the bags, the baggage handler, whatever. But he worked his way up now to he's the general manager at the Citizen Hotel downtown. So we try to show the young men you can start off early in life planning on a career. We try to get them exposed to things like that. So we have more information on our website. So I'm going to go on to that, but feel free to visit our website and you'll see other events and tours that we do that we do with our young men. Okay. We are blessed to have a very, very strong, supportive base of contacts here in the community. We call them friends of ACE, who are there for our young men for whatever they need. If it's counseling related, bad situation going on, we have to deal with something with young men and the family. We have close ties with judges, lawyers here in the community that have actually helped our program in needs. So we have a very good base of what we call friends of ACE who are there to support our program as a whole or network. Okay. A couple other things here, and then I want to wrap up and have William say a few words. Again, we introduce creative ideas. We want our young men to be creative. We want our young men to know there's opportunity out here for you. The type of young men that we're looking for, and that's why I want to have this presentation today, are those who might be considered disadvantaged or not as advantaged as others, but are one motivated and two willing and have a drive to do well and exceed. Be honest with you, we've had some other men in the past directed to our program, and as we try to help everybody, some just would not just did not have the interest, and unfortunately would drag down the program, and it wasn't fair to the others in our young men in the program who are trying to excel. So our goal today, when we talk to you out here, leaders, is to hopefully identify young men who might lack some advantages, but would benefit from the opportunities that we have here in our program. They help them get to that graduation level and to move on to something positive in life. So we are looking for some motivated young men who are interested in learning, creative, and are open to what we have to do in our program. Okay. As I start to wrap up here, a big part of our program is exposure. We want to expose our young men to a lot of different things. Over the years, we've been invited to leadership workshops. We'll send some of our young men to leadership workshops. Speaker series that go on in the community, whether it's at UC Davis or Sacramento, we'll take our young men. They all wear their shirts, their A shirts, and we'll go to a speaker series and hear whatever that speaker has to say. And the next session, we'll talk about what did you learn last week at that for that guest speaker that we went to visit and hear about in the community, man. We've been offered tickets to community dinners, banquets, and so we take our young men to those and expose them to going out, in environment, eating, and meeting professionals here in the community. And then lastly, the mayors, the current mayor and the past mayor, all know about the ACE program. They've endorsed it. And the current police chief, Chief Hahn, is quite familiar with our program. Have chatted with our young men, so they are quite familiar with our program. And the last but not least is our annual golf tournament. I'd like to share. That's our primary fundraiser, and that's how we bring funds into our organization. We hold that in November of every year. We have a solid base of golfers, male and female, who come to help support. And the reason I want to mention the golf tournament is a lot of times we have golf tournaments out there, but you don't know, who is benefiting, but you never see the faces. Our young men help with the preparation of the golf tournament. They're there the morning helping with the registration. They're there throughout the day assisting. During the lunchtime, the golfers get a chance to actually talk one-on-one with our young men and actually see and feel where their funds are going. So that's kind of what our program is about. So I would like William Wood to say a few words, and then after that, open up the question back to him to share his thoughts on being in the East Mentoring program.
Yeah, I'd love to share my thoughts about how ACE has helped me. So in the beginning, when I joined ACE, I was pretty good with my grades, but ACE was more of an exposure and a career pathway sort of program for me. So in the beginning, I really thought I wanted to be a chef, and I spoke to Vince about it, and there was a couple of other kids in the program that actually had a similar career interest. So we actually had an educational interest site visit, and after the visit, I realized this career pathway isn't for me. I like to cook at home, but becoming a chef is not for me. Crossing off career pathways is good, but ACE also introduced new career pathways. As he was talking about earlier, I met a owner of multiple McDonald's, and I realized that becoming a business owner was something that I could do, and that it was an option for me, and that was not something that I had ever thought about before, which is crazy to think about knowing that I'm a business marketing major now. ACE also helped me with exposure when it comes to colleges and picking a new college. Mr. Vince took us to college fairs where I met multiple HBCU and PWY uh, university and basically speakers and staff members where I was able to get their emails and contact them, and I was able to get exposure that I wouldn't have had before. Outside of academics, ACE has helped me by putting me in environments I've never been in before. As Mr. Vince spoke of, going to community dinners and sitting courtside at the Kings game and meeting Kings players and having speakers come and talk to me about career pathways that I never thought before. Building myself personally, ACE has helped me with public speaking as we do a Tell Me Something Good report every day. The Tell Me Something Good report is really just emphasizing opening up our meetings with positive affirmations. So we would go around in a circle and I would say something like, I got a really good grade on my math test, or I had my first performance, or it could be something as little as I drew a picture and I really liked it and I'm proud of myself. And we always back up these positive affirmations with a round of applause, and it really just makes the students feel good and feel welcomed. Um, ACE really is just looking for students like me who have the drive and just happen to be disadvantaged. At this time, I would really just like to thank all the participants, and now we will be available for any questions.
So hopefully we have a few there.
All right, so I stopped sharing the screen. I just want to give an opportunity for anyone who might have any questions about the program. Matter of fact, we can kind of call an audible since there aren't a lot of participants on live here on Zoom. If Axel or Monica would like to unmute themselves or even cut on their cameras and ask any question, please feel free to do so. All right, I see Axel has using the chat box, and I'll read his question. What does the application process look like, or is there an application process?
Yes, Axel, very good question. Yes, there is an application process. Um, we actually are modifying our form right now, and actually our website, even though it's up and going, because I do not like to have a website that's not current about. We're actually modifying the form that will be available on our website. The application process is it's a one page document, just filled out as you probably think it is. It's the information about the young man, as well as the young man may want to have or learn as they go forward. Also, on the form, we ask the parents, is there any particular aspect uh, that you would like ACE program to work with your child or your young man about? So there's a written application process. It will be available on our website, or we have an email that can forward that out to you as well.
Thank you so much. And
then once they complete that, then we do have a conversation with the young man, myself, or one of the other leaders, to get a feel for the young man, to understand what the program is. Are you going to be involved in the program, young man? Are you going to be committed to the program? So we do have a verbal conversation as well, and then move forward, hopefully, with the bringing the young man on board.
perfect, thank you. And an additional question, is it often that young men get denied or are not, accepted into the program, or is it more so, I apologize, it's my dog in the back. Um, is it more of a conversation about, maybe this isn't a good fit?
Um, Over the years, and I know I had to go through a little bit quickly. We haven't, and Derek can chime in as well, the leader, but we haven't really turned down. If we've said unfortunately, uh, we can't bring your young man on, it's usually due to age. We get a lot of calls, believe it or not. So people are looking at our website. We get calls for somebody has a child 10, 11, and 12. And I said, our program's 13, 18, and that was set by our board of directors too. I really don't want to go out of that. And there's a reason for it. It's hard to put a mix of a 12-year-old and an 18-year-old together. I'm sure everybody on the line understands that piece. So a lot of it's been because of the age we've turned it down. But over the years, we have accepted kind of all young men. But as I mentioned earlier, that's why I think we ran into some problems there. But young men were it just came to play, really no desire. We would push as much as we could to say, we really are trying to work with you, young man, but just would not get there. And so, like I mentioned earlier, and William mentioned a little bit too, it can drag a program down. And not saying that we have some really good resources in this program. They're all good mentoring programs in Sacramento. 100 Black Men, Alpha Academy, Kappas, and I didn't mention earlier, but we're big on collaboration with all those organizations. So we're all trying to get to the same place. But some young men just, I don't know, do not want that support or help. So so we really don't turn down, but this time we're being a little bit more cautious during the screening process and the application process, looking for young men who just don't have some opportunity out there, but have a drive and desire